trade targets for the Bengals. I saw something the other day, and I actually kind of like it. I know he's up there in age, but to me, I think Jason Kelce, the center of the Eagles, I like that one quite a bit. Trey Hopkins, he's been the weakest link of this offensive line, in my opinion. Hasn't really been himself ever since the injury from last year. And, let's say we tried to get Kelce. All of a sudden, we have somebody who's won a Super Bowl, has Super Bowl experience, has playoff experience on his offensive line, which position group-wise is definitely our weakest link, but I don't think it's really as bad as people think. Something else about that Ravens game. There was times where Burrow was scrambling and, getting away from a potential sack. We only gave up 1 sack against the Baltimore Ravens. That's still very, very, very impressive when Justin Herbert was running for his life, when they played just a couple weeks ago against the Chargers. This offensive line, I don't think it's as bad as people think, but if we can get rid of our weakest link and get a all-pro center, a guy who's, played in the Super Bowl, has tons of playoff experience, I really think that could, make us get the next step and be even better. And, maybe not even compete just for the AFC North, but maybe even compete for the AFC just in general.
I like Kelce a lot. And I think that if you are looking to have a win now team, I think the Bengals are very, very likely to look towards drafting a center in the draft next year anyways, right? And I think getting a good veteran presence like Kelce, who's probably going to only be in the league for another 2 or 3 years, maybe. He's getting up there in age. He's 36 right now, I believe. So he is really, really old as a center right now. But he is still, despite his age, one of the better centers in the league right now, and an obvious upgrade over Trey Hopkins, like you mentioned, who has been struggling this season. So I would love Jason Kelce. I think right now the absolute priority is to continue to protect Burrow and let him do what he can do best, and that is absolutely shred a defense at secondary whenever he has time in the pocket. That's what he's done all year, and it's worked out so well. You see, whenever Burrow has 3 seconds in the pocket, he's going to make an elite throw, and it's going to be a big, big play for the Bengals. I think one thing that we haven't really gotten the chance to, I guess, recognize is the fact that, we kind of see Chase get all these targets because Burrow's having pressure and he wants to throw it up to Chase to be able to see if Chase can make a play. And Chase has made plays thus far this season. But I will say that is something that worries me in the future, because a lot of those plays that Burrow makes can result in interceptions as well. We saw a lot of plays that ended up resulting in interceptions, like the one Ravens interception last week. But if the Bengals are able to get Kelce, get better protection for Burrow, he's going to be able to make better decisions. You might be able to see Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, maybe even another guy, Chris Evans, who's already had a very solid season this year, be able to continue to make better plays, and Burrow can make better decisions to get those guys the ball. And being able to have better offensive line play allows the ball to spread around more, make the offense a lot less predictable in a way, make it to where the team doesn't only have to worry about Jamar Chase. They can worry about Boyd, Uzama, Higgins, all those guys. And all of a sudden, you have one of the most elite offenses in the NFL. I already think right now we're talking about the Bengals being a top 5 defense, which is in itself insane that we're talking about that, because that's a defense last year that was terrible. But if this team can turn this offense, which is already, I think, top 12, maybe top 10, you can argue, into another top 5 offense, then yes, we are talking about a team that can make a playoff run this year. They are a year ahead of schedule. Next year was the year I was marking down as a playoff team that we can be excited about. No, this is a playoff team this year. Next year is when it gets real. When it gets absolutely real. And you're talking about this team being the division leaders, the possible deep playoff run team. I mean, it's insane to think that we're talking about this. But this team's a week ahead or a year ahead of schedule because of the amazing play of both Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, who are playing out of their minds.
And I mean, you look at our team right now. It seems like every single position group is exceeding expectations a lot. This Bengals offensive line, it has been shaky at times. We've given up some sacks at times, and despite maybe not giving up some sacks, just the offensive line still might not be really good with quarterback hits and things like that. Is there any really position group to you that maybe we should target for maybe like a trade at the deadline? Because to me, I think maybe we can get maybe an experience, maybe another defensive lineman or something like that. I know our linebacker group's been really good this year. Logan Wilson's been lights out, second in picks this season. Davis Gaither has really stepped it up. Coming out of college, Davis Gaither was known for, against the blitz. He was the best linebacker against the run. This year, he has been phenomenal in coverage, which, looking at his tape at Appalachian State, that's something he wasn't really, used to doing. His coverage this year has been exceeding expectations. Pratt's been inconsistent at times. I wouldn't be really opposed if we maybe tried to get maybe an experienced linebacker, maybe get some more depth, at the linebacker position. I feel like this defense, like you said, is top 10 right now, but I feel like regardless of what's on offense or defense, I would want us to make a move because the way we're playing right now, I feel like we are contenders not only in the AFC North, but in the AFC. And we get an experienced guy, who's been in the league for a while, has some playoff experience. I feel like that could really be beneficial because we've seen it in the offseason when getting guys like Awuzie and Ogunjobi and Hendrickson, Mike Hilton, and guys like that. So I would kind of maybe like this to maybe get a more experienced linebacker because, honestly, in the offseason, I was really, really, really surprised we did not end up re-signing Josh Bynes. I thought we were going to re-sign him to have, that one veteran leadership guy at the linebacker position. So I wouldn't be opposed. Maybe we got a linebacker or an edge rusher to get more experience on the defensive side of the ball.
Well, I know a big popular name going around with the teams want, the Bengals want specific is Xavien Howard. And let me just say first, that's a dream if that happens. I doubt that's going to happen. I don't think the Bengals are going to be willing to give up enough capital. And I don't think fans would like the amount of capital the Dolphins are going to ask for Xavien Howard anyways. So I don't see that being the case. And I think right now, when you look at our cornerback room, assuming Trey Wayne's able to come back healthy, hopefully later on this season, you already signed Trey Flowers. You have Eli Apple playing pretty well right now. I'm okay with the way our cornerback room looks at the moment, and they're working well. So I'm okay with that. And I would love Xavien Howard, of course. If I can get him, I would take him. But I'm not expecting this to be a thing that happens, so I'm going to take him out of the equation right now. I think one thing that I would really like to see personally is a good edge rusher to maybe come in on third down passing situations and be able to rush the passer. Sam Hubbard has looked really, really good this season, and I want to give credit to him. However, I think he's a lot better on third down passing situations whenever he's on the inside, rushing from the inside. And we've seen him do that quite a bit this year. We see Cam Sample coming in and playing a little bit as well. I think he's been solid, but I don't know if he's been reliable enough to be a very effective third down edge rusher for this team right now. I would love to see Darius Hodge or someone like that get a chance maybe on the team in third down situations and see if they can do something, but I don't know if the Bengals are willing to do that. So if you're able to maybe make a trade to someone like the Lions or the Bills or a team like that is looking to maybe shop away some of their excess edge rushers right now, I would totally take a flyer on one of those guys. I was a big advocate for us to try to sign Whitney Merciless whenever he ended up getting released by the Texans earlier this week. And of course, the Packers ended up signing him, I believe. So he's no longer an option for this team. But if the Bengals are able to get a guy like Merciless, that would have been absolutely ideal because I think a good third down pass rusher that you could put on the opposite side of Hendrickson makes to where all of a sudden teams are not able to focus on one side of the line and be able to take advantage of Cam Sample who's unable to beat out the right tackle in that case. And all of a sudden you're able to have Lamar Jackson or someone scramble out of the right side of the pocket and be able to make an easy throw. I think if you're going to be able to get another edge rusher who can set the edge at an elite level on third downs, it forces the quarterback to stay in the pocket, lets the interior work, and force them to basically collapse the pocket and make it to where you can get sacks.
Somebody who I was really a fan of us possibly, signing in the offseason. And, after thinking about this, we're talking about possible edge rushers. Maybe the Bengals, could maybe trade for. The more I think about this, I really, really like this. And the reason I was really a fan of this happening, I really wanted this to sign Ryan Kerrigan in the offseason. Ryan Kerrigan has had at least 5 sacks in every single year of his career. Obviously he's towards the end of his career, but he could be a nice, good piece to this edge rusher, depth right now. Something else, Ryan Kerrigan was at Purdue when Lou Anamaro was Purdue's defense coordinator. I feel like that connection there can maybe help us, maybe trade for him. And it's not going to be something like obviously like a 3rd, 4th round pick. It'll be maybe like a 5th or 6th round pick because I believe he's only on a 1-year contract. And like I already said, he's towards the end of his career. I believe he's with the Eagles right now. I think that's where he is. And if he is, obviously the Eagles are not playoff contenders. They're a team who's rebuilding. You would want to get, extra draft picks. So to me, I think Ryan Kerrigan could be a very nice, addition if we're talking about possible, trade candidates that the Bengals could possibly getting at the trade deadline.
Kerrigan was also a guy who went to Cincinnati this offseason and worked out for them. So Cincinnati's already got a look at Kerrigan and they know what they kind of want. And I think that what ended up happening was they didn't agree on contract situations. But now Kerrigan's already signing a contract with the Eagles. And if the Eagles are looking to move on from him, I would totally take a flyer on Kerrigan. I think he could be worth a 5th or 6th round pick. And I feel like that's worth it to get an edge rusher like Kerrigan for a year who can come in and be an effective pass rusher for this team. I would love that. That would be an ideal trade for me. He's another guy that is getting older and is going to be out of the league, or not out of the league, but he's not going to be as much of a factor in the future. So I think it's going to be a temporary signing. But at the same time, you had Joseph Osai next year. So how much of a need is Kerrigan after next year? I really don't think it's big at all. But for this year, for a team that is now starting to win now, I think it's definitely worth it to take a flyer on a guy like Kerrigan who can come in and be an effective pass rusher. And then next year, move on from and let this insane rookie Joseph Osai come in and be that next beast.